So I'm Chris Wilson. I'm the regional manager for our Hull office, and I was involved quite heavily in the development of this from a user standpoint and seeing how it works. So I'm sure you'll agree it all looks nice and it sounds great, but how does it work? So when we're on site doing our asbestos survey, what we do is, as part of the app, we take these measured images of the building, and that's recorded at the same point on site, and it's imported again straight into NextGen the same way the data is at the moment. So you may be aware that you can get draft reports instantly from NextGen for those of you who do use it. These plans are exactly the same. Once it's synced, it's on there and you can access it straight away. No more waiting for somebody to draw it in the back in the office. A draft report and plan is available straight away. So what does it look like? So this is the landing page. This is my house. This is the ground floor of my house, which I've done for the purposes of this demonstration. So as you can see, flip around it, zoom in, zoom out. Just very easy to use. This isn't a particularly powerful PC, and this loads straight up. We use Chromebooks for quite a lot of our work, and it works great on it. It's so it's not intensive at all, and it works on mobile devices as well. So if I click on one of these features, for those of you who do use NextGen, you'll be used to what you get to see on the side. So I've clicked on the whole ceiling there. It's highlighted it on the plan so you can see the extent of the element, and it gives you all the scoring information and such that you're used to seeing if you do use the NextGen portal.
Sorry Chris, so it works in a web browser, you don't need to install any program?
No, it's just all via the web, so this is just through Chrome, but it does work with any browser. For those of you who are still limited to Internet Explorer, I know there are a few of you, we ensured that it did have access through all systems. You can click out any of these features to make them disappear as well, so we can have a peer into there. And get rid of the doors, get rid of the windows. So any element, ceiling, wall, floor, windows and doors at the moment are all tagged with colour coding based on the same risk ratings that we use in our report. So R1 for red, highest risk, down to R3, the lowest risk, in a yellow colouring. If the sample's unanalysed, it comes across in blue. So your draft report that you get straight away on site, you get your draft report. The only thing missing is the analysis. You also get this 3D plan instantly on site, and you can have a look at that, and you've got a worst case scenario as soon as that surveyor's left site, basically. So if we go around this and have a look, we can click on all these different features. We've got a nice fireplace here. Don't worry if you've got one that looks like this. This is a post-2000 house, and I've just presumed this for the purpose of this, don't panic. There's no asbestos in it, I hope. So again, we've got that scoring. It's just coloured that one wall, because that's where that element is. So it's giving you the right information, or the guy on site the right information. He's not going to mistake where that fireplace is. It's on this wall. It makes it safer for him, who is going to be the one doing the work at the end of the day. But one of the other things we talked about with this is the live data, and that it's live in real time. So what we're going to imagine here is we've gone and done the survey, and as part of this we've gone and done some remedial works. So it's been removed by a contractor, we've gone on site, seen it, removed it, we've got a record that it's updated. So all I've done is edited a record on our system. I've just done that in the time it took to say that on my device. So I'm just refreshing the plan here. You see this wall here, the red one in my kitchen, will magically disappear. So the live data now, that feature's been removed. So the records are still there, because with anything in NextGen we have traceability and audit trails just to show all those sorts of records for your sanity, to make sure you do know that it's been done. And it links in with any air monitoring records and that sort of thing. It all goes back through the archives the same way NextGen normally does. So as you can see, that's now gone, and that's been done instantly. One of the QR codes I've left on your chairs that you can try for any of those of you with a NextGen login, otherwise you can create one, is again from this same property, and it is that feature that I've put on there as the item example, so these walls. But I'm just going to bring up the page just to show you what it looks like. So this is what it'd look like on a desktop. It does scale down to the mobile as one single scrollable screen, very easy to use. So this is what you get if you scan one of the QR codes on site. So as you can see here, it's all there with all the scoring in that we had. But what I did was I updated it, didn't I? So if I refresh it, it's gone. Score's gone. So that same QR code that's on the site that they put there at the time of the survey that identified this possible ACM, the same code, no new codes needed, is, once it's scanned, will show the most up-to-date record for the item. So that's now, yep, it's removed, gone, safe.
Is the QR code taking you to a specific location or for the whole of the premises?
So there's 3 levels we do it at, which is the full site level, at a room level, so you could put one, say, on the door, and it would give you, if you try these codes that I've popped on your chair, there's an example of each one of those on there. So the site one gives you a full compact version, link to the report, summary of all the how many ACMs. The room one tells you exactly what ACMs have been identified in that room, and then there's item level ones that you can have specifically. You could either have it on, say, a ceiling or an item if it's above the ceiling, yeah. And it will give you this record. So this is the specific item one that I've used as this example, just to show you the live updating that it can do. But if I go back to the online application now, and let's have a look on another floor. So if I go on the first floor and have a spin around, and we can pop out, as we say, all of these ceilings, any of these walls. What we'll do is we'll have a look in my bathroom. No judging, please. If I can remember where my bathroom is. So you can click out any of these features, click on any of these, and they just load up nicely for you. So it all works nicely. If I click on these, apologies, I'm just going to zoom in. Click on these items, and as I say, anyone who's an asbestos expert will agree if that was asbestos, my bath panel probably needs encapsulating, because it's not in very good condition. I am very ashamed of that, but I figured I'd show it anyway, just for... So, as you can see, it's very easy to use, and it's not just asbestos information that can go on here. You can put on the Legionella, fire, it's scalable to anything. We're currently working on the final developments, which will be specific item tagging, so we're talking pipe runs and the like, boilers, specific bits of equipment, again, colour-coded based on the risk. We can drop those things on the 2D plans already, but they will be soon pulling through to the 3D plans as well. And the big one that's coming is it's going to link in with 3D camera software. So there'll be a 360-degree view within that location. So you plot the camera in the room, does a 360 image. You'll click on, say, a little globe in the room. There'll be an icon for it once we've popped it in, and you'll be able to do an augmented reality view of that property. You can have it of that room, and you can have a spin around in it, and it will probably avoid a lot of questions. But most importantly, it's a lot of assurance in that information and a lot of confidence building. So the last thing I'll show you is a 2D plan. So I'll just click this, and as you saw, we had all these measured 2D plans from before, as Matthew showed an example of. These are all included, part and parcel with it. They are put in our report as a copy as well, so they're all in one place in the copy of that report. And it's just generated a little zip file here. I'll just get it up on this screen and I'll drag it across. So what you get, apologies, what you get is a load of files in a zip file. DXF files, so for those of you who can use CAD, or those of you who do have CAD departments, that's a CAD file, editable, so it makes a 2D, that plan that you saw earlier, measured 2D plan, scaled in CAD for you to play with. There's a PDF report which gives you a full summary of the property, all the sample points, all that sort of thing, and measurements for each room. And the ones we put in the reports down here, if I pick any of these, say the ground floor, and I think I've already got it open, so here's one I made earlier. And this is what it looks like. So everything from the window spans, placement of the fireplace, the stairs, extent to the rooms, all that is recorded, and that comes along with this, and that's what we're finding our clients finding one of the most beneficial pieces of this software, because sometimes you have to send surveyors out to do this sort of thing. This is getting captured for you at no additional cost to on top of the 3D modelling already being produced. So it's all there for you straight away.
Is there also a list of the R1s to 3s for premises and rooms, so you can quickly check, so you don't have to rely on going to the 3D model?
That would just be in the asbestos survey report. That's where we'd always want that sort of information to remain. So it just links back to that.
Traditional list would always be there as well as this.
The standard survey report is still delivered. So the way this 3D plan's actually accessible is for those clients who do have this. They have a little house icon that appears on the front page of the report. It's next to our logo. You click on that, and this is the landing page it takes you to straight away. So the guy could finish on site. He can put this straight in, and it's there and done. Those of you who may have commercial portfolios, you might think it's not scalable. We've tried it on quite a lot, and for complex sites, it's actually better than freehanding it from our point of view, because the way our software works is we do a room, we specify where certain things are, and then we bolt on the other rooms to them so that you can build a continuous picture. It doesn't all have to be done in one day, so for large projects, you can keep a copy on the cloud, keep working on it, adding rooms as you go. So it's fully scalable to any sort of property type. We've trialled it on industrial sites, and we're working on specific elements being recorded as well, as I say. But I'm sure you can agree, it's very easy to use. It's easy to use for the surveyors on site, and ultimately it reduces the risk to the chaps on the ground. So does anybody have any questions around any of this?
Is there an offline version? I'm conscious that a lot of our sites we have like data signals.
Not at the moment for the 3D plan. The 2D plan and all that sort of thing, there is an offline. It is something that's a development, but it would depend on demand for developing that, because there wouldn't be many people who could obviously load sort of a 3D model for that sort of thing as well. There will be bespoke solutions that can be loaded onto local servers and things like that if it's ever deemed as a requirement or a request for particular users. Anyone else?
What's the accuracy, Chris?
It's down to, with careful use, down to 20 millimeters. It can also link in with a Bluetooth laser measuring device, which can get it down to whatever the degree of accuracy is of that laser measuring device, because it links in with Bluetooth devices from that point of view.
You could use it for QSing and estimating of all the other elements of the house,
Yep.
like carpets or plasterboard or things or whatever.
Yep.
Can you show us the sort of summary PDF that shows the whole property?
Yep. Just bear with me.
I know it might be an insight into your personal life as well, but
No comments on the size of my house, please. It is very much tied into my self-image. So this is what we get with that. It's a nice summary report. It doesn't tell you the address. I've hidden that for GDPR purposes, which I'm sure you're all familiar with now. And we go down and we get that one that you saw. And as part of that, it then breaks down into each room. So this is my living room and the location of my fireplace. The items that are examined, any notes you've put on. We can also tie photography into this. Your windows, how far off the floor the windows are. All sorts of information you can bolt onto this and give you measurements for each room. Those of you who do planned adaptation work, maybe in the housing sector, having specific information just on a single room is useful for getting those scales before you go and fit new bathrooms and things like that. So it's all very useful information. And you get one of those for each floor and each room all throughout the property. And it's quite an in-depth document. And that's not loaded into your report, but is accessible there just by the push of a button on your 3D plan.